It's Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerantz. Thank you so much for joining us again. Our guest is Curran Price. Curran is a member of the California State Senate now. He was in the Assembly. You are now in the Senate.
Yes.
Congratulations
Thank you.
again.
Thank you.
You represent very significant portions of Los Angeles that are often very impacted by traffic. But there's some good news in the southern portion of Los Angeles. It's now called the Crenshaw Transit Corridor Light Rail Line. Tell us about it.
Well, we're really excited. It's a line, a proposed line that would run from Exposition down through to Florence, jogging west in Inglewood, and then continuing up, I think, Aviation to the Green Line.
Right, so it will connect the new Expo line.
Correct.
To the Green Line, which gets us to LAX.
And finally going all the way to the Green Line.
That's pretty significant.
So it's it's still the preliminary stages. We don't really have a timetable for it yet. That's the recommendation of the board, of staff to the board that will finally approve that. But it looks like that's going to go, and it looks like it's going to be able to create thousands of jobs over the next several years. In a very impacted area.
And we're hopeful that the water bill, which just passed miraculously out of both houses of Sacramento and signed by the governor, will create jobs as well.
Absolutely. There's, I think about 20 million in there for the Baldwin Hills Conservancy. We're not quite sure how that's going to be used, but we know that we have to be investing in our infrastructure, and part of our infrastructure our natural resources.
But let's talk about that investment, because part of the package included a bond initiative, $11 billion. It will be on the ballot next November. No doubt California voters have been generous as it relates to bonds, but tough times before us. And
well, no, it's going to be a hard sell. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. There certainly was something in there for everybody. Most, north and southern regions were accommodated, businesses and farmers were accommodated. But you're right, it still is going to have to come up for a vote, and people are still, I think, very wary of any kind of measure is going to impact their pocketbook.
Now, you said there's something in there for everybody, and some people have said, well, that's too true, that maybe there's too much pork in there. What's your sense on that?
Well, I don't know. I know there hasn't been a water agreement in about 30, 35, 40 years. Over something as critical as water. I think the fact that we've gotten sides to come together who might not agree on the whole package, but there are parts of it they think that are significant movements forward.
Well,
and that seems to have made a deal.
Well, let's talk about that, because it is miraculous that you have folks like Republican Senator Bob Huff supporting a bond initiative for $11 billion, and Democratic Senator, Fran Pavley, who's supporting this bond initiative. I mean, they are polar opposites, yet they've come together. What went right?
Well, again, I think it was just timing. I think there was a sense that it was time to do something in this area, so critically important. A lot of people have been working on it behind the scenes for a number of years, so it was, there was some momentum. And we had a pro tem who was determined to make sure we got through this.
And it happened.
And it worked, yes.
Now, it's not easy to get any bill signed by any governor, especially some would argue this governor.
Yes.
But you got a few bills signed. Congratulations.
I did, thank you.
Talk to us about
we got
those.
about 6 of 8 bills that were on his desk signed.
Okay. What are you most proud of?
Well, most proud of our bill AB 31, which provided resources for small businesses, increasing the thresholds for small businesses from 100,000 to 250,000 in certain programs of the GSA's Department.
General Services Administration.
General Services Administration. And another bill that increased the Small Business Loan Guarantee Fund loan amount, almost $10 million, $10 million, I'm sorry.
Okay.
A significant resource, again, for small businesses that are trying to maneuver through.
So you're really focused on helping the small business.
Hoping the small businesses, I think that makes more sense. That's where the jobs are going to be created, and that's where the opportunities are.
I wanted to ask you a question just between us, of course. No one's listening, clearly. Talk to me about the difference between the Senate and the Assembly. You've been in both houses now.
They're two unique houses. A little slower pace, I think, on the Senate side.
More deliberative?
More deliberative. We don't embrace all the technology. For example, there's always a voice vote. There's no electronic voting, as opposed to the Assembly.
Okay.
But I think we both are facing, both houses face kind of serious problems that are going to impact the citizens.
But you're there, so it's all better.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to do my job.
Thanks, Kurt. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
For Local Edition, I'm Brad Pomerantz. Back to CNN HLN.